The Halloween game is going to fail. At least, this is what a large percentage of the internet is saying, and is this true, and why do people think this? Now, let me quickly say that this is not my take. I think the game is going to do well, which I will go over my reasons for why I believe it will be a success, but first let's talk about why people think it's going to fail, then I'll go into why I really believe Halloween is different and set up to succeed. First, let's take a look at how other similar games are doing currently. Friday the 13th is shut down. Okay, but that's because of legal issues. Let's take a look at Killer Klowns from 27 people. Might as well be shut down, I guess, but surely Texas Chainsaw Massacre, my boy Bubba, gotta be pulling numbers. Now also, let me clarify, this is only Steam player count numbers, so not including console and Xbox Game Pass players, but you get the point. For someone looking outside in, this new shiny Halloween game seems to be just another asymmetrical game that will come in and flush right out after a few months, just like these recent titles, such as Killer Klowns from Outer Space, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Ash vs. Evil Dead, and so on. Nothing has been able to last. All we've had survive and thrive in this genre has been Dead by Daylight, which people hate to hear. And let me just say, Dead by Daylight is completely different because they aren't trying to be authentic and one-to-one with the IPs that they do get. Trying to make an entire game feel authentic and just like you're actually in the movie is a significant challenge in making these games, while also keeping a competitive side and balance. But either way, what makes us think this one will be any different than the previous IPs? For the average gamer, why would they try this new Michael Myers game when they could just play or play against Michael Myers and Dead by Daylight? Why spend the $40 to play a new game that might just be dead in a couple of weeks? People are arguing that these games have not been surviving or doing well because of the developers behind them, that these developers are just incompetent and don't know how to make a proper game. Illfonic has a track record with other licensed games, Predator Hunting Grounds, Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, Killer Klowns, but all of those games have had a similar cycle of fun for a few weeks and then dead servers type of game. And the other co-developer, Gun, is making people want to boycott the game with how they handled Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Fans also associate them with the shutdown of Friday the 13th and again the lack of support for Texas Chainsaw Massacre the game. They have not been helping themselves, as they've also had a history of pretty much gaslighting their own players as to why their game isn't doing well, and literally arguing and insulting their own fans on Reddit. So at this point, people are done with Gun and think it is just cursed with negative energy and will only bring harm to the game, which looks to be another layer of struggle against the game, with so many people saying they won't play the game with Gun's name slapped on the cover, potentially causing the game to struggle with sales off launch. Now, I know so far it sounds like this game is doomed, but hang on, I do have a counter argument. I just want to talk about why the game might fail first. It also doesn't help that YouTubers, Redditors, and YouTube comments already declaring the game a failure before we've even seen any gameplay. Now, we can't completely blame people for being pessimistic while everything has just fallen off hard. It's simple pattern recognition. Now, I hope I can instill some optimism and you can consider the possibility that, hey, let me see how the game is looking, let me look into the details and see how people are liking it and giving it a chance before premeditating its downfall. So now let me get into the counter argument. So first off, for all the Gun protesters, do not worry about Gun. Gun is not a big part of the development. They only recently hopped on the game maybe a couple of months ago, but so far this is Illfonic's baby. Illfonic is the lead developer while Gun is the co-developer and is only there to provide support for what Illfonic wants to do. I believe they will only help with details like making objects around the map, maybe helping make actual map locations, but as far as how the game runs and how the game works, I don't think they have any input on that. Although Illfonic games have also fallen off, Illfonic has a good track record of long-term support even when the games aren't pulling off massive numbers. So don't expect them to drop this game easily when the hype dies down. It's also funny because Illfonic pretty much came out and said, don't worry guys, Gun is only a small part of this game is ours. Because they knew people were freaking out about Gun being part of the game, they're just like, hey, just don't worry about Gun. It's our thing. And also the last time we saw these guys working on a game together was Friday the 13th, which was doing pretty well and may have still been doing well with recent content if the game wasn't forced into closing down due to the legal issues. Now, even with F13 being relatively successful up until that point, it still wasn't near Dead by Daylight levels of success. Which, this is another thing for the game and the community, we cannot be comparing these games. The truth is, this game is not going to be able to compete with Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight is too well established at this point, and trying to take over as the asymmetrical king will not happen. Halloween needs to and will be trying to do what it does best, and that's giving the best boogeyman experience. This game needs to worry about making you feel like you're in the true city of Haddonfield, Illinois the day Michael returned. not worried about trying to be the asymmetrical king. And also, as a community, we cannot be making comparisons and trying to make this game compete with Dead by Daylight. It's not supposed to be the Dead by Daylight killer, it's not supposed to be another competitive asymmetrical game. That also just wouldn't happen. That's something that we cannot be mad at the devs for. There really isn't much they can do to try to take that crown. At least not without sacrificing a lot of the authenticity that we want to see from the movie. And even then, if they did try to do so, the odds are super low. There should be a balance in the gameplay, but the priority is the experience of being in the Halloween movie. Now, do not expect that the game is 100% based on skill alone and that you're going to try to be the best Halloween asymmetrical player there is. Also, it's funny because people just really want a game to take over Dead by Daylight so people can talk crap to the Dead by Daylight players as they have been doing to the other side, which I saw during Texas Chainsaw Massacre off launch as it had really good numbers. People went and talked crap to the Dead by Daylight players, but that quickly backfired as the game did fall off pretty fast and we just got roasted by the DBD mains. And we already know this game isn't trying to do this, especially since they are adding a story mode. Unlike Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th, and others, they are going to finally have a dedicated story mode. This is a huge move in the right direction for a game like this. It's what I think has been missing and can turn these games from just another asymmetrical game to an iconic legendary horror game. They are also going to allow to adding bots to your lobbies for the casual players who don't want to deal with the heavy multiplayer side that is always being heavily optimized to be the best killer or the best survivor. That will never go away and we can't expect it to do so, we can only play around that. Also real quick, if you want to stay updated on all the news for Halloween the game, make sure to like the video and subscribe down below. Appreciate it. Now back to the video. Could you imagine though if this game plays like the Batman Arkham series or the Hitman games where you're lurking around trying to take out people in a stealthy manner? There's so much potential in the asymmetrical side as well, but the story mode could send this game into legendary status and will be worth playing for any Halloween fan or horror game fans for that matter. This addition also helps the community feel like they are being listened to and learning from their previous titles. Offline play has been long requested, even a standalone horror game has been asked for with these types of games, and we are finally getting that, and we are getting the asymmetrical side as well. This game isn't only being created by Gun and Illfonic, but also by the original producers of the movie, including John Carpenter himself. They even have the original Michael Myers, aka Nick Castle, doing the motion capture for Michael Myers. They are going to reach new levels of authenticity in this game, which I honestly thought they did great with in Friday the 13th, but this will only take it to another level, especially as they incorporate Unreal Engine 5. Also, there's something else we haven't talked about. This is Halloween. This is Michael Myers, the Shape, the Boogeyman. No offense to Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Killer Klowns, I love my boy Bubba, but come on. They ain't near Michael Myers level. F13 is definitely in the same league. I personally hold Halloween above it. But again, F13 was doing well, and I would even love to see it back, of course, which they are working on a new game if you didn't know. But it was doing well, and this was the last time Illfonic and Gun worked on a game together. People are going to show up to this game despite all the boycotts you see. This game will probably bring in new gamers, people who haven't even touched these other asymmetrical games, especially with the addition of Xbox Game Pass potential. I think we are finally going to see what Friday the 13th the game could have been, but better since they've even learned from that game and have another entire game mode. And also because they won't have to deal with the legal issues. I'm not gonna lie to you, the track record for these games isn't good. There is a high level of risk and possibility that this game under-delivers and it is another game to come and go. If this game does fail quickly though, I think it's safe to say Gun and Illfonic formula is over and these IPs will begin to take an entire new direction. I don't see them getting another huge game like this if they mess up with this one. So who knows, this game could be the last of its kind. But I think the addition of story mode finally being added to a game like this, Illfonic having a track record of sticking with the game, the original producers and actors coming in to support the game, and Michael Myers just being the GOAT, this game has a solid chance of being more than just another asymmetrical game. So yes, on paper, it has every reason to fail, and honestly, I can't blame you or whoever says the game is likely to fail. It's just what has been happening. I think people say they aren't going to buy the game, but I know they will, or try it through whatever subscription service. These people be lying. Now, game sales do not translate to quality of the game, I realize that, but what I'm saying is don't not get the game because of the boycott. The boycott really won't exist. This game will pull crazy numbers off release, but definitely don't be afraid to wait for some gameplay or even some reviews, and also the future content timelines to come out before ordering the game. If you want to know everything we know about the game so far, here's a video about that, so make sure to check that out. Let me know down below though, do you think this game will truly be different, or am I just coping? and we're gonna play this game for 2 weeks and never touch it again. Well, hopefully you're a little bit more excited about the game, and now if you want to stay updated on news about the game, make sure to like the video and subscribe down below. Appreciate you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed. Till next time, love ya, see ya.